Good day, folks. We're glad to have you viewing here, Lake Highlights program on Lake TV. It's a great day, and we have four wonderful guests, and we're going to start out today with Pastor Nick Stutesman. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
And Nick is the Dean of Students at Lake West Christian Academy, which is growing and having lots of wonderful things going on. Nick, I've known you for 3 or 4 years, and I know a little bit about you, but not enough to put on TV, and I'd like to just ask you to give me a 1-minute biography of who Nick Stutesman really is.
Wow.
You're a native of the lake, I know.
Pretty much. Our family moved here in 1973. I'm a graduate of Camdenton High School. Attended college at Missouri Western University there in St. Joseph, Missouri, and at each juncture point of college and things, felt like we were supposed to come back to the lake. So returned to the lake after college, and then from there discerned a call of ministry and went to Bible school, and praying what direction to go, was led to come back to the lake again. And my wife is Kim. I have 2 children, Julie and Sarah, and they're in Branson and Washington, D.C.
Ooh, Washington, D.C. Was it Sarah that just got married?
Sarah's getting married
Getting
this
married.
fall.
Okay,
Our
this
youngest
fall.
daughter is getting married, so
Wow.
we're busy with all those plans. Going to be going out and visiting here shortly.
That's good. Okay. What are some things you're involved in here at the lake, Nick? I know you have the Lake West Christian Academy, and what other things are you involved in?
Well, in addition to being Dean of Students there at Lake West, I'm in my 20th year as senior pastor of Sunrise Bible Church there, involved in Como Cares Trust Board and the Operation Roundup, just pretty much as well as the Ministerial Alliance, service-oriented organizations to enhance the lives of the people here at the lake.
Right. And tell us the history of how you got the academy started.
That's a history for sure.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Just in pastoring and working with families, being familiar with the area, the geographics don't lend well. I mean, where that mix of metropolitan, large town, rural, and the geographics of the lake make it difficult for families to really be involved in the school that their child may be attending, simply because of distance and work schedules, etc. And so just as a pastor, saw the need for more biblical instruction in a school setting, as well as the need for students to be educated in the area from which they're from, and give parents an opportunity to be more involved in the school that their child's attending.
You started the school as a part of your church for a while, and then you expanded to the larger facility.
Well, it's always been a community-based desire.
That's
and in trying to get the other churches and organizations to participate in the school, and but that takes time to develop that heart and vision within people, and we had the heart. So at the church there, yes, we agreed to house the school for 3 years, and the hearts of the people and the school, we just kind of blended together, and so we couldn't see the school going anywhere else, though it is its own entity.
It's separate corporate operation, different from the church, so it's not
Correct.
just an outreach of the
Right.
church alone.
They have their own board, and they operate separate of the church, even though we're right there together on the same property. Again, it was just a matter of our hearts being open, to what the Lord was doing with LWCA, and just wanting to be a help to it.
The academy is a remarkable facility as a structure in the community, and you've oriented it toward community service. There's recreation going on there for the community, that it's not school related. There's children's sports activities going on there. The Lake West Expo you host there. There's lots of good things. That beautiful big building services the whole lakeside community. So that's important. When was the building built?
We began planning for the building in 2003. We broke ground in 2004 and actually held our first classes in the facility in the fall of 2006. And those planning phases, as we talked about what we'd like to accomplish, it was more than education's our primary mission, but that isn't just for primary grades or secondary high school, but we'd like to continue to enhance the adult education and post-secondary education opportunities for the lake area in those things. But then just some good community information, education, and understanding, whatever meetings we can host to help the public to be informed of things. We see ourselves as a community, center of the community for that. And then, as you say, we put a larger gymnasium on one end, not just for the development of a sports program there at Lake West, but to give recreational opportunities to the community. And so we have some of the pickleball group comes in, and it's a kind of a combination of table tennis and tennis itself. And anyway, they come in when the weather's inclement and not good for them outside. They use the facility, and then you say adult volleyball and different things that take place. We got our basketball camp coming up, and that's open.
Tell us about that basketball camp. That's quite something impressive.
Yes. Dan Noyes is our athletic director there. Dan's son Pat was involved with Oklahoma State University, and unfortunately was part of the team that went down in the plane several years ago, I believe about 2002, 2003. And Dan's just a motivated, committed individual to carry on what his son started in sports. And he's been the organizer of the basketball camp there. And so we now call it the Pat Noyes Eagles basketball camp.
Wonderful. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Who's eligible to come to that? Tell us who you'd like to have.
It is open to the community, grades going into the 3rd grade through 12th grade. You don't have to attend Lake West Christian Academy. It's just a basketball camp for those who'd like to learn about basketball or enhance the skills they have. We have former college, collegiate players. Andre Williams has been there several years. We have college coaches from both OSU, McPherson College, Westminster. And
it's boys and girls?
Yes, male and female coaches.
Is there a cost?
The cost is $50.
$10 a day for good basketball instruction and practice.
Right. And the T-shirt. You get the T-shirt when you're done.
And there's kids from quite an area that come to that, I know.
Yes, it's been growing every year, and we're getting reports from students or participants who've been to other camps, some run by pros and things, and they say, you know, our camp's just as good or better. And
I'm glad to
so
hear
we're
that.
really excited about it.
Okay.
July 8th through the 12th, I
There you
guess.
go. July 8th through the 12th,
Yeah.
then they can call your
Call
school.
the school there, 374-1500.
374-1500. I know that number well. In the last 5 years, how do you see Lake West Academy, Christian Academy, has grown or changed?
Well, it has changed, you know, having the facility available. We've been able to begin some expansion of activities as well as the curriculum and tracks where we have space to do those things. The sports program was one of the things that have been developed, having the facility there, and that began, we had a basketball floor that was donated to us and installed in 2008.
Beautiful floor. Ooh.
Yes, it really works well. SBU had donated the goals and other items years ago when they did their renovation, and they've just been sitting in storage, in a sense, on one end of the gym there. And with the installation of the basketball floor as well as the growth of the student body, our largest has been 86 students, and so sports began to be developed with that. We now have women's basketball and volleyball, and then men's basketball.
Okay. Sports is always a good enhancement for the students. I know you have an art program there.
Correct.
And you've had music at various different times for the kids, so it's a full service, pre-kindergarten 4.
Correct.
Through high school graduation. We have graduates every year.
We have 19 now.
19?
Graduates, yes.
19 graduates over the last several years. That's great. You have PhDs teaching your science. You have certified teachers doing your math, and lots of other areas. Your kindergarten 4 program, the pre-K, is a wonderful program, and it's always very populated, easy to get into. And most people think that a school, private school, a Christian private school tuition would be sky high. I know a family that lived on the east side of the bridge and commuted to school every day and back, and then to school again in the afternoon to pick up their daughter. Their bridge fees, I'm not talking about the bridge, but their bridge fees were more than the tuition was.
Correct.
You have a new transportation program coming up where you'll have buses bringing kids to and from school. Tell us what the fee is for the tuition this year.
Tuition at Lake West Christian Academy is, tuition and the book fees is $2,750. That includes your registration, book fees, and then the tuition, which can be paid monthly. It's $250 a month if they want to pay it out on the 9-month program.
$250 a month is a pretty good bargain.
Yes.
Now tell me, what kinds of students come to Lake West Christian Academy?
There is a range of students. Obviously we're looking for those students who are motivated to learn. However, working with them on a relationship basis, we can bring some motivation and understanding so that they begin to take ownership of their education versus just being offered information and hoping they retain that. We challenge them with the core of the individual, who they are, and that's where we see biblical instruction as a very important part of education. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But a student or a family doesn't necessarily have to be a member of any one church or a church per se. They just have to agree and commit to the understanding that biblical instruction will take place, and that we begin with that instruction to the core of the individual, who they really are, and try to give them a vision for that. In that, as they begin to learn that perspective, I was the best we can offer without a biblical instruction would be intellectual development, the disciplines of the mind, which are very important. But there's also disciplines of the spirit, and so when a person really identifies who they are, and then they begin to understand more of their calling or the gifts that God has given them, they begin to desire to draw to themselves information, understanding in line with that. And sometimes the greatest benefit we might get is fully understanding our weaknesses and how to overcome those weaknesses. And our strengths just go ahead and are great part of our strong suit.
So academics is a huge part of the school, and the kids that go through the school completely and finish and graduate have never had any problem getting to any school they want to get into. The academics are solid. Kids coming from private schools, according to the Missouri University professors that I talked to, are some of the easiest to educate at the higher education level. As Dean of Students, I don't anticipate you have a lot of discipline problems coming into your office every day.
Correct. I mean, there's the normal things, talking a little bit too much in class or things like that. But we're fortunate that we really haven't had to deal with significant major behavior issues within the classroom, because there's certain identification of why they're there.
Because it's a private school, a lot of our families at Lake West Christian Academy are not what you'd call the wealthy crust either. It's a good mixture of everybody.
That is correct. It's a diverse group of individuals and families from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and we have some great funders or supporters of the school. That's why the transportation is being offered this year.
Tell us about that.
Well, we have a couple that has stepped up and purchased a bus, 25 passenger airport shuttle type bus, individual seats, seat belts, the whole bit, and they're underwriting the costs of that program so that we can provide a free transportation. Free. And so for 2 years, which they're committed to take it beyond 2 years, but 2 years to evaluate if it is helping families to have their students come to Lake West. Sometimes the work schedule can get into a conflict when you have to provide the transportation and things. So it's a 2-year program that we see continuing, but it's provided free of charge for students, and that there'll be stops in Osage Beach, Camdenton, and Greenview, just kind of a collection point there for students.
So the school is on Highway 5 on the north end of Sunrise Beach, just right below the Camden County line. And transportation is a problem with distances and time and parents going in other directions for work. So this bus service is quite an asset to get new students who might have wanted to come there that just couldn't logistically make the arrangements to it.
Correct.
We have about a minute left, Nick. Look into your telescope in the next 5 years, and where would you like to see Lake West Christian Academy?
We would like to continue to develop those relationships that we have with the community, enhance some of the business relationships that we have. As we've talked about in the past, Mike, we have an emphasis of leadership, ethics, and enterprise. And this year we're beginning the entrepreneurial is the term I like because it speaks of that pioneer. Yeah, harder to spell. And if you're going to graduate from that track, you better know how to spell it. But it kind of identifies that innovative, pioneering spirit, and we're starting that segment of what LWCA is doing this next year with a entrepreneurial class, so that no matter what a student or families are desiring to accomplish, they can obtain some knowledge and skills to do so from beginning, middle, and end. Even if it's art-oriented, if they're a creative person, there's a business side to that. And so we're working on those relationships. So we'd like to see a lot of those continue to expand. We have some good relationships with folks in the community, and we'd like to see that expand, whether it's in the arts. We're doing a horticulture approach, working with folks, understanding healthy foods and things like that. And I'd like to see that continue in the future and expand so that the community identifies with who Lake West Christian Academy is.
So if a family is interested in Lake West Christian Academy, they can call you, call the administrator, Pastor Bill Ferretti. They could have a summertime walkthrough and open house any day they want to call and make an appointment, right?
Indeed. They can call 374-1500 and we'll set something up.
That's great. Pastor
Thank
Nick,
you for your
thanks for having it today, and this is a great time to know about more things that make the lake a good place to live and make it a place that feels good for good families to grow and live. Thank you so much for viewing. If you'd like to have anybody in your organization visit with us here at the interview table, then give us a call here at the lake. My name is Mike Currier. We're glad you watched. Have a good day.